Yo, what's going on, boys? How you guys doing today? Welcome back to another YouTube video. And in today's video, now we have the Warlock build for this week's Grandmaster Nightfall. The Grandmaster, not that bad this week, but there's a certain build that I've been running on the Warlock that makes it just a piece of cake. It is a very chill GM with this. And it's essentially all about spamming abilities thanks to that new modifier, including your super. So if you guys want an easy way to complete this week's Grandmaster, especially if you're going to LFG, then this is gonna be the build that you're looking for. So let's not waste any time, let's get into it, and first let's start with our exotics. Now today we're actually gonna be starting with our exotic armor piece. I know we usually start with the weapon, but today we're gonna be using the Nesrac Sin. This is gonna give us improved ability regen whenever we get some void kills, and that could be with both our weapons and abilities, and the ability regen affects everything, our melee, our grenade, our super, just everything's gonna be regenerating faster once we get some kills with void. And stacking this plus the modifier we have on the strike already just leads to some ridiculous uptime abilities. We just get everything back so much faster. How fast? Well, a minute into the strike we pretty much already had a super at the very beginning of the Grandmaster. That's just how fast we're going to be getting it, so make sure you spam with your abilities. Like, use everything. Now for the exotic weapon, this week I decided to go with the Leviathan Spirit. This one's another void weapon, so it can trigger our exotic as well. But most of the time we're going to be using this on the bigger enemies. And it can also stun unstoppable champions, meaning that it's going to be pretty good against that. Most of the time I just kind of use this against the unstoppables, but I did use it to put in some boss damage, and it'll also do some ridiculous damage against the tank. So if you want to just get rid of the tank as fast as you can, this thing's going to be pretty good for it. One thing that you do want to keep in mind is that the catalyst on this weapon is amazing, so if you have it, this thing's just going to feel so much better. You gain 50% more ammo, and you also do use follow-up shots a lot faster. So if you gotta shoot something multiple times, like a champion, is just much better at doing that. So hopefully you guys have the catalyst, because it really does make this weapon much better, especially with the ammo increase. The ammo increase is huge, just so you can actually shoot this thing a lot more often. And for your other weapons, you want to go with a grenade launcher so you can apply some debuffs. I recommend the Lost Signal from last season, but as long as you have a grenade launcher in the kinetic slot, it should be pretty good. But definitely try to give this one a try. And for your energy slot, you're going to want a Void Scout Rifle. It doesn't really have to be this one. I just figured that this one would be like a really popular one that a lot of people have. So that's why I ended up going with this one. But as long as it's a Void Scout Rifle, it should be able to work. And the reason that we want a Void Scout Rifle is because of the modifier Void Hunger. Whenever we do some void damage in the strike, it builds up a meter, and when it's full, we basically get increased ability regeneration for 20 seconds. This, when it stacks up with our helmet, just gives us some crazy ability regen. So going with a Void Scout Rifle just made it really easy to trigger that, and also Scout Rifles are anti-barrier, so we're pretty much just going to be doing all of that just with this one weapon. But again, it doesn't have to be this specific Scout Rifle. As long as it's a Void Scout Rifle, it should be pretty okay. Now for the super, we are going to be on Song of Flame, because this thing is just ridiculous for GMs. The survivability, the damage, the ignitions. You're almost unkillable in this super, so it's a great super that you can pop for whenever your teammates go down, or whenever you want to deal with a lot of enemies, or you just want to deal with some champions a little bit easier. You're going to be able to use your Song of Flame and make anything easier. And thanks to all the regen that we have in this build, we're going to be getting this thing back really quickly. Now for our class ability, I decided to go with the Phoenix Dive. I just really like the Phoenix Dive. We heal on the go, we don't really have to stand anywhere for like a healing riff. And it also pairs up really well with one of our aspects. For the melee, we're going to be on the Arcane Needles. We get 3 charges to them. And whenever we hit something with it, it unravels them, meaning they're going to take a little bit extra damage. Whether it's a champion, a big enemy, this is going to make killing them a little bit easier. Now for the grenade, we are going to be on the Vortex Grenade. This grenade is going to weaken. It's going to be pretty good at dealing with that. It's going to do some really nice damage against enemies. And it's also going to help our meter and also our helmet, so we can get our abilities back faster. This is pretty much like the perfect grenade for this. So it's the one that we're going with. Now for the aspects, we're going to have Helion and Feed the Void. Feed the Void so we can get the Devour, so we can get some heals and also grenade energy. And Helion so we can get some more damage out there, as well as some extra ignitions. With all the ability regen that we're going to have, you pretty much could have Helion up 100% of the time, as long as you don't forget to actually use your Phoenix Dive. A lot of times I wasn't using it just because I just forgot. I just had so much health that I didn't really need to use my Phoenix Dive. But because of that, I wasn't activating the Helion, so keep that in mind. Try to activate your class ability whenever you see a dive runs out. Now moving on to the fragments, first of all we're going to have the facet dominance, and this is what's going to allow our grenades to weaken. After that we're going to have facet dawn, which is going to give us some radiant, and this is just going to make our weapons do more damage. And since we have so many abilities again, I feel like I've been mentioning this just over and over again, we're going to have a very easy time proccing this, meaning that we're going to have a lot of radiant, meaning a lot of extra damage. After that we're going to have the facet of sacrifice. After that we're going to have the facet of sacrifice. Whenever we have an arc, solar, or void buff, our ability Final Blows will grant us bonus darkness transcendence energy. We have a lot of light damage that we're going to be doing, so our light energy is going to be pretty easy to get. But our darkness energy is going to be a little bit harder. So this is going to help us balance it out a bit so we can get some more darkness energy so we can pop our transcendence. After that we're going to have the facet of awakening. Rapidly defeating targets with light or darkness damage or super damage generates the mental pickup of that matching type. Most of the time that we're going to get from this is going to be void breaches, and this is going to be really good because it's going to allow us to do some weakens with our weapon, and also it's going to give us back some class ability energy. But we mostly just kind of want them for the weakens, meaning that our scout rifle, not only is it going to have radiant, not only is it going to be anti-barrier, but it's also going to be weakening targets after we pick up a void breach. And lastly, the final fragment is going to be the facet of protection. While we're surrounded by combatants, we are more resistant to incoming damage. It's a 15% damage assist, and whenever we're transcendence is at 25. So this one's just really good in the GMs. Whenever we're surrounded, we just take more damage. It just kind of increases our survivability in the GMs and just makes it harder to kill. Now moving on to the artifact, we're going to have the usual suspects with the grenade launcher mods. And now also we're going to have Power from Pain as well as Supernova. Whenever we pick up void breaches, the net source of void damage is going to create a large weakening pulse. So this is the thing that's going to be allowing our scout rifle to weaken targets, but it doesn't really have to be just our scout rifle. Our grenade could also do the weakening pulse, but since we already have weakening grenades, I definitely recommend you use this with the pulse rifle. And thanks to the boosted Power from Pain, whenever we defeat some weakened targets, it makes more void breaches, and whenever we pick up those void breaches, we weaken more targets. And it's just a cycle of just constantly weakening enemies and just having weaken for more enemies. And well, those are going to be the most important ones. Some of the ones that you can also run are Total Carnage, Debilitating Wave, and also Surf Coal, so we can get even more abilities from picking up those void breaches. And lastly, let's take a look at the mods that we're in on this build. For the helmet, we have Heavy Ammo Finder and Void Siphon, so we can make orbs and also use our bow more often. For the gauntlets, we're going to have Momentum Transfer, Boy Loader, and Fastball, so we can throw our grenades farther away, so we can get some melee energy whenever we hit something with a grenade, and so we can reload both our weapons faster. On the chest piece, we have Harmonic Resistance, which is going to give us Solar Resistance, Void Resistance, and also Concussive Dampener. These seem to be the ones that work the best in this strike, so go with these. For the boots, we have Orbs of Restoration, so we can get abilities back faster, Void Scavengers, so we can get some more out of those bricks that drop. And lastly, for the class item, we have Reaper, Proximity Ward, and Outreach. This is going to make it so we can finish things just more safely. We just get an overshield whenever we go for a finisher, so we can make more orbs, and so we can get our melees back a little faster. And with that, that's actually going to be the end of the build. Now you know everything that's part of it. And the gameplay loop for this build is going to be pretty simple. You do void damage until your meter gets full, and once it's full, then you start spamming abilities. That is literally it. There's nothing really fancy about it, it's just ability spam. But man, do we love some ability spam, especially considering that we're gonna be getting our super back a lot. I probably didn't even use the super as much as I could have. I probably could have popped even more of them, but I was just kinda spamming normal abilities. But anyways, thank you for watching today, thank you for stopping by. Like always, there's gonna be a dim link pinned in the comments below in case you guys wanna try out this build. And if you guys do end up trying it, hopefully you guys come back and tell me what you guys thought about it. If you guys make any changes or if you just like the build, just let me know that in the comments below. Good luck with the GM this week. If you're going for the weapon, hopefully you get some good luck with that as well. Or if you're just going for the title, then they should make it very easy to just knock the one this week out. But anyways, thank you for stopping by, thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Take care everyone, have a good rest of your day. Peace.